You're listening to Get Up Podcast episode 28. We got a little special for you guys this week because I don't think I'm going to be able to record a podcast, so I'm just going to give you guys a little taste of an attempt I had at the podcast back in January 2019. I was in Amsterdam, I think I was on mushrooms, and definitely had just visited the red light district. And yeah, just wanted to give a shot at the podcast, I guess. And during this podcast recording, I actually got lost in Amsterdam. I don't know if I bring it up in the podcast, but I thought I knew where I was going the whole time. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'll just talk on the phone and whatever, fuck it. And then the battery started running out and I checked the maps and I was on the exact opposite end of the city where I needed to be. So hope you enjoy and bye-bye. The water is boiling. Did I mention I actually don't know anything that I said in this? Actually, I haven't even listened to this through. So let me know how it goes. Maybe I say some weird shit. Maybe I don't. Maybe I try and be inspiring and fail. And maybe I try and be funny and fail. But yeah, just check it out. It was my first shot at doing a podcast. Bye. Love you.
Hello, this is me on the street, walking and talking. I thought that it would be nice to make a podcast. I've always wanted to make one, but I had no idea what to do. But I figured, one, I love learning new things, and number two, I love to talk to myself. And I have figured out that I really enjoy walking. So I was thinking what I could do is just pull out the phone and just talk to myself. And hopefully one day I can learn how to ignore the phone. Yes. Very nice. I am in Amsterdam. It is 12:40, my guess is. I'm kind of lost, but that is quite all right. Because I have a vague sense of which way the hotel is. And I have a phone. Isn't that wonderful? We have these little navigation devices in our pockets that can take us wherever we need to just in case we get lost. Speaking of being lost, in Amsterdam, it's super hard to truly get lost. I think that the city is shaped in such a way that the only way for you to get lost is to walk in a straight line. So if you're constantly taking turns, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, if you're constantly taking turns, you will not get lost. Because the city is shaped like a semicircle, or at least near the center. It's very curved. It kind of sends you in circles, like especially if you're with your friends and walking around and being high, you will find yourself in a place that you've recognized from before if you're not paying attention. Especially if you're just walking around and I don't know, just kind of going wherever attention takes you. By the way, it's pretty windy right now, so sorry if that sucks. I have an audio recorder at home that I'm hoping to learn how to use, and then I can just kind of go out on walks and do this. Yeah. I figured out that I would really enjoy doing more walks anyway, because on those walks, I do a lot of talking to myself, and when I talk to myself, I tend to figure out ideas. In that time, I do tend to say a lot of weird shit. So I can imagine there would be some weird shit to be said in this podcast now and in the future. Yeah. No, walking is really nice though. It's when people say something is their meditation, I don't know if it ever really clicked with me until walking. Just the clarity it gives me. That in combination with all of the meditating that I've been doing thanks to the Sam Harris Waking Up app. Just fantastic. And then also I'm on shrooms right now. So that's a thing. In fact, I don't even know if my phone is recording this all. Yes, it is. Fantastic. Probably ill-advised to be recording this on my phone because I am trusting it to be my navigator. But that is a problem that I'll figure out later. Travel is kind of fun because you can just say, oh, it'll figure itself out, right? Because you really get to test your capacity for worry. Worry, yes. You test your capacity for worry because when you're traveling, you have to learn that everything tends to work itself out for the best. Example, with my friend Brian. He didn't book a hotel, and he was completely adamant that things would not work out. In fact, I think he directly said that at some point. No disrespect to Brian, it's just a kind of an interesting story. But then at the end of the night, they dropped me off at my hotel, which there was not enough room for them in there, by the way. We tried. It's a tiny hotel room. I paid a lot of money for this tiny hotel room, so I'm kind of pissed about that. Yes, at the end of the night, he dropped me off at my hotel room and was looking for a place to stay, and the hotel manager let him sleep under the stairs. Or so that's how his story went in my memory. That's pretty cool. You kind of just get to adventure and just, I guess, fight your worries. Because, hi sir.
Paper.
No papers, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, where was I? We're only in Amsterdam, right? No, I'm just kidding. I think that happens in most places. Oh, wow. I might be pretty lost right now, actually. But I have been taking turns. I ended up walking in a straight line in the exact opposite direction of where my hotel was. So that's kind of funny. Worry. Yes. Yes, worry. I feel like Ari Shafir when I get caught up in these tangents while I'm talking to my phone, walking around. Ari Shafir is a big inspiration for this style of podcast. As much as I'd like to sit in a room and talk, I think walking would do the trick. Very nice. In fact, I'm going to check my map in the meantime. Checking my map. Oh, man. I am further. Oh, boy. Yeah. I am in an alleyway. How did that happen, sir? Maybe my sense of direction wasn't as good as I thought. That is hilarious. Funny. Okay, go up, take a right, bear straight along the curve. Isn't that funny? I was just talking about how hard it was to get lost in Amsterdam, and then here I am on the exact opposite end. So, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, worry. That's what I was talking about. Nice. Yes. Yeah, you're kind of just thrust into the fire with travel. You're like, you have no choice but to take control. You have no choice but to roll with the punches, because if you don't, you're not going to enjoy traveling, are you? If you're trying to just guide every experience and all that. Yes. I am enjoying traveling very much so. Just gonna check the map once again. I can't believe how lost I got. That is so funny. I was adamant. This is such a stoner story. Yeah, I did some shrooms and got lost in Amsterdam. Thought I was going the right way. Yeah, pretty embarrassing. I have something on my mind that I must share. I guess the best way to approach this style of podcasting would be to not hold anything back. Yes, so I would prefer if my mom didn't listen to this. But if she does, fair enough. She likes to know what's going on in my life. But I will be speaking into the ether with no consideration for mothers. Yes. I find myself walking about in Amsterdam at this time of night because I did not awake. I was in my hotel room, ready to go to sleep, and I decided I needed a prostitute. Interesting, right? Just the need for sex arose, and I said, at the heart of the need of sex, I strike at thee. No, that's not even the correct reference. You're in Amsterdam, and the need for sex is very easily fulfilled, or so I thought. So, even though I was prepared for bed, got up, retainer still in, definitely forgot about that. In fact, I'm still wearing it. That is the sound of my retainer gnashing. Hopefully the audio picks that up. Retainer still in, left the hotel in search of sex. So I took to the streets. using my spidey sense, trying to feel out where the red light district was. Eventually got there, found a nice lady, paid 50 euros, walked in there and found out that I did not have enough money to actually have sex. I paid 50 euros to enter and be cleaned. So if you're looking for a good way to sterilize your external body parts, I do recommend paying 50 euros for a prostitute. I ended up having to spend a lot more money than I wanted to. But the banter was pretty good. Banter was pretty nice. And I'm moving around the sex part because the sex wasn't that good, I gotta say. I like sex, I like girls. But prostitute sex in Amsterdam, nope. Gonna have to say no to that one. Condom was too thick. Could not tell the difference from the inside of her vagina to the inside of my pants. That's no disrespect to her. It's just the condom was too thick. Very interesting, right? So with much money spent and a sad penis, I did leave the Amsterdam red light district. Sorry, I'm just a little bit focused on how lost I am. This is kind of a travel thing, isn't it? And took to the streets. A little bit of a hop in my step because, yes, sir, I did have sex. So I could say that I have had sex, but it was not enjoyable at all. I enjoyed talking to her, making her laugh, and talking about her dreams. In fact, she wants to start a nursery in Hungary. How cool is that? My friend, whose name I shall refrain from saying in terms of saving his identity, he told me that he went to a prostitute and had a similar experience. He went to a prostitute and ended up talking about his problems to her. And I laughed. I didn't think that was something that I would end up doing. But here I am in the same situation. Isn't that funny? Yes. If you're wondering why I'm talking so funny, which maybe you weren't, I've been in Ireland lately as well. I'm just feeling free to talk any way that I please. I think that's kind of fun, especially when nobody's around. You can talk in any way that you want. You can pretend to be an orc. You can make like weird, crazy sounds because nobody's around. Who cares? Why does it matter? Speaking of worry, I cannot believe how much worry I was holding on to before. I did a big worry vomit on these mushrooms. Like, I didn't actually vomit, but I let it all out of me. Watched it and felt it claw its way out of my system and laid black and dormant on the sidewalk in front of me. All these worries. I couldn't believe how long I had been existing with this worry in me. I was like, oh my goodness, how much have I been missing? How much have I been missing because I'm too busy thinking about my worries? I thought about something nice earlier, that worry is like being afraid to cross an empty street because you're afraid a car is going to come and hit you that you didn't see coming. Very nice. All right, gonna do another map check. Yep. Very nice. We'll get back to the hotel just yet, folks. We'll be back before Andy gets home. Hopefully one of you could remind me. I am crossing one canal and then hanging left. So if you do choose to message me about the podcast, do say cross the canal and then turn left. That's a great way to open up a conversation or to end one. Yes. Yes. Another thing that I did think about. Good way to get yourself out of an awkward situation when you're in a social situation, because on occasion I do get socially anxious, and I found a good tool for that. Indeed, yes. So what you can say in place of, I think I left my oven on. You know the situations where you gotta say that? You know, it's ironic, right? It's funny. But there's something better. What if I told you there was something better, huh? Would you believe me? I instead would say, I heard the waves in Hawaii are nice this time of year. It's truthful, it's funny, it's random, and it could save you from an awkward moment. In fact, it could deliver you into good hands. Somebody might ask you, what does that mean? You could spend the rest of the time just answering that with them. That's a great conversation starter. So even instead of getting you out of an awkward, oh my God, my teeth are like farting. I have so much spit behind my retainer. My teeth are farting. Anyway, to open up a conversation or just to break the ice, you could approach a fair-looking female and say, I heard the waves in Hawaii are nice this time of year. And she'll go, oh, really? Or something like that. That's how I would anticipate a lady would sound. That's my impression of a lady. Yes, approaching the canal. Very nice. We will find ourselves at home once again, but then I'll have to end the podcast. So that's unfortunate for you guys that it will have to end, but I'll do blah, blah, blah. All good things do come to an end. Yes. Oh, this is quite fun. I do enjoy talking to myself on occasion with consideration to other people. In fact, this may save some of my friendships because I believe that I really should spend more time talking to myself. And when I'm talking to other people, just lost my hat, but I've got it in my hand. I believe that sometimes when I'm talking to other people, I'm really just talking to myself. So that'd be nice to get it out of my system. What do I call it? Podcast. Self-talk. That's nice. Self-talk. Just thought of it right there. You guys heard that? That is really funny because my brand is called Self. That's what I've chosen to call my clothing brand. And the podcast is called Self-Talk. So that's kind of funny. I enjoy that. That'll stay like that for a while. Josh Dohy's Self-Talk. and then if I do choose to include people on the podcast, I could call it Self-Talks. So it's the brand Self-Talks. Very nice. A little bit of wordplay there. On mushrooms this time around, I did discover I have a mind for poetry. Yes. How interesting is that? I also did read the screenplay for Dead Poets Society on the plane here, but I believe my whole life I have had a poetic knack, an inclination to poetry. As Robin Williams said, it drips from my mouth like honey. Yeah, quote Robin Williams about that. You can write to him and say, did you really say that? Just kidding, everyone. Robin Williams is dead. But I love Robin Williams, by the way. He is one of my favorite actors. Little joke with him being dead thing. Anyways, yeah, he said something along the lines of something drips from our mouth like honey. And that is how I feel with poetry as well. I do feel as if it does drip from my mouth like honey. And I do wish to take apart No, I don't wish to take apart. I wish to take part in performing more poetry. In fact, I don't want to do it, and I don't feel like I want to do that in front of other people. Although I will not refrain from doing so. It's something that I would do regardless. I would like to find myself in a situation very soon where I can read poetry in a forest. I've done that once before, just reading, who was that? Ralph Waldo Emerson out loud in the forest. Although I didn't really enjoy Ralph Waldo Emerson. He didn't leave an impression on me as Henry David Thoreau did. Yes, or David Henry Thoreau. Walden. That is what I'm thinking of. Yes, Ralph Waldo Emerson and his colonial era poetry did not leave an impact on me as I thought it would. There was some good stuff in there, but I just couldn't connect with it. Maybe I wasn't in the right mind space. And I do believe at some point I was reading poetry for the sake of reading poetry and saying, I read poetry. Hello everyone, I read poetry, by the way. No, I do believe in the right situation, with the right author, in the right setting. Reading poetry is something that sings to my heart. Oh, listen to these ducks. By the way, Amsterdam is the only place I've ever been to where you can pee on the street. In fact, I'm going to pee now, and I don't want to record that, so give me a sec. Woo! Alrighty. That was interesting. I was getting a very you will be mugged vibe from that porta potty. There's open receptacles for men, and I suppose brave women who can pee standing, to pee in. How wonderful is that? When I was a kid, my friend Nico told me you can pee on the street in Holland, and I thought that just meant you could just pee anywhere. Like, you just walk out in the middle of the street and pee. I mean, people do that, but they tend to be drunks. But I think what he meant was that there are just open-air urinals on the street. There's also holes on the side of garbage cans that I think you can slip your little Johnny into and pee as well. Very interesting. Very inclusive culture here. This was a moped. That would be kind of fun to get a moped. I should like to get a moped one day. Oh boy, I am far away from anything that I've known. How are we doing for time? 39%. Doing for time as in how we're doing for how much juice do I have left on this thing. Very good. Very nice. It is natural to worry when traveling, but you cannot let that worry take over. Fear is a horrible driver, but it does make for good fuel, I say. Yes, you can take that worry and use it to do something nice. Very good. Yes, that porta potty was quite interesting. I've never seen so many needles in one place. A lot of needles, a lot of tinfoil, and was getting a very heavy you will be mugged vibe. So I wanted to be in there, finish my pee, and get the F and H out of that shit. I just cracked myself up with a joke. Oh boy. I did want to talk about a funny situation I thought of while peeing. It's that, what if somebody did mug you while you were peeing? Would you, A, finish the pee and then chase them, or B, while peeing with your penis out, chase the people who have stolen your stuff? So that would be quite interesting, running through the streets with your penis out. Yes, very interesting. And then there's also a bonus option, but I don't think anybody would go for it, is C, abruptly pulling up your pants, peeing your pants, and then chasing the captor. At that point, you have peed your pants and lost your belongings, so I think that is the worst option so far. Yes. Well, give that some thought and put that in your milk, as Dr. C. Brule would say. Yes. Worry. I would say I'm feeling relatively worry-free. I mean, the mushrooms are coming down, so I am feeling the possibility for worrying, but with my current mentality, at least in this current state, I can take those worries and put them in the worry box for now. Now I can see them illustrated in front of me as opposed to them working in the background and sabotaging everything. That is funny. Worry loves to take control, a little controlling dark cloud from which we cannot see without. When I say without, I mean you can't see the outside of it. You cannot see without. When you're inside of the worry, all you see is worry. You don't realize there's a beautiful blue sky around you. Yeah, worry is like a little grumpy little nimbus right above your head and all around your body. Very wonderful. Well, I don't believe it, folks. Have I chatted myself out? Am I petering out of energy? Well, I could just ramble on. Those were the things that I wanted to talk about, though. Yeah, just kind of voicing my thoughts on worry. I think worry is the root of all my problems. Isn't that funny? I think that's a great problem to have. Much better than not being able to eat, not having a nice diet, not getting enough sleep, hydration, all that stuff. I think all that in consideration, having worries being my main problem, that's a fine problem to have. Something that I can surmount now that I've seen it illustrated in front of me. Thank you, shrooms. Thank you, weed. Yes. It is very nice to finally have a label on that, because I personally could not see existence outside of worrying. In fact, all of my mentors, I say mentors, but people who I consider grand teachers, whether they know it or not, John Emmett Tracy, Pasha, my mom, other people I can't think of right now, they all tell me, stop worrying. Why are you so worried? That was my biggest problem, just worrying. And even my other problems, things that I thought were problems, were really just me worrying. Worrying that I'm going to fail, worrying I'm going to hurt myself, not breathing. And speaking of that, I have remembered that I can breathe. I found out I probably haven't been breathing enough while doing parkour and freerunning. So I think if I can get my breath under control, and also I have a new pair of shoes coming in, a lot more cushioned. I've been doing high impact moves in shoes that are meant for precise jumping. So parkour and freerunning has become less enjoyable for me because doing it just spells pain for me. I don't want to go outside and train. I'm just going to get sore and my feet are going to hurt. That was my mentality towards it. But I think with a new pair of shoes in order and a worry-free mentality, because parkour's hard if you worry, worry-free mentality, new shoes, and breathing. All things that I've been meaning to tackle, and I believe I finally had the tools to do so. Very nice. I have just found a wheelchair elevator and will be riding it upwards. Very nice. Hello, this is the Elevator Podcast. This is the second time tonight that I have used an elevator for wheelchairs all by myself. And I'll be taking it to the top, but with consideration to people who do require usage, I will be taking the elevator down. Very nice. Yes. Reporting live from the elevator. In fact, if I had the mind to do so, I could inject some elevator music that I composed with my friend Chase Garland back in 2015. In fact, in post, I would love to do that. Note to editor, just make a little cut and throw in the elevator theme done by J-Wiz. That is Chase and I's collaboration. Yeah, just throw that in. That's fun. Oh, I found a cinema. Excellent. That was a wonderful elevator break, and we are back to the streets of Amsterdam, where I myself am somewhat lost. Very nice. Another thing you can do when you're traveling, just fucking ask somebody. Traveling is much more fun outside of your phone. You can talk to people for new experiences. If you're lost, you can ask somebody. If you need a friend, you can talk to somebody. And the cool thing is you can also test your memory. I love to test my memory. That was why I ended up in the wrong neck of the woods anyways. I had a resistance to checking my map because I wanted to feel a little bit more self-sufficient and just to see if I could. Turns out I couldn't. And my little worry was founded. Now that is interesting. A worry that was helpful. Very interesting. Now, you have to be careful because I've set up a reward system for worrying. But if I can gauge each worry for its weight and value, I think I'll be okay. If I can gauge each worry. Is this a valid worry? Is this not? I think another good name for this podcast might be the Growing Up Podcast. Isn't it interesting growing up? I'm 22 years old now. I was born April 17th. And I feel like I'm starting to finally grow up. I feel like I feel like the platitudes and motivational quotes and advice I've read from the internet and heard from friends and all types of things are really starting to click. They're starting to become tools. Well, hi Josh, just thought that I had stepped on glass and cut my foot open. Isn't that funny? Yes. Growing up, very interesting. Growing up is an abstract concept because we physically do it. We know it happens, but nobody really talks about how cool it is the way that concepts galvanize, how concepts solidify in our heads as we grow. And they become things to use, tools even. For I thought motivational quotes were things to live by 100% of the time. Really, it turns out they're tools. Tools that you use in your time of need, or like superheroes. I told that to my teacher. I said, platitudes and motivation and advice are like tools. No, I said they're like superheroes. So make good superheroes. Or have good superheroes. I think I have really good superheroes here to help me. Pardon me. Checking my map real quick. I am in an area that is entirely unfamiliar. But I feel okay. I got you guys with me. That's kind of cool, huh? Yes. Growing up. How fun it is to learn how you work, the things that you enjoy, the way that you wish to talk, the friends that you wish to have, and also to find out that concepts that you had of things might not be so sound and strong. Things that you thought were true might not be so true. And you get to explore that as an adult. Isn't that interesting? Things that you had been led to believe were true thanks to things people around you said, and films and advertisements. This is what love is. This is what a relationship is. This is what travel is. This is what a nice life is. I'll make my own goddamn life. Show them how to live a life that you enjoy. Yes. It is very fun to find out that you know nothing. That is very cool. Just wrestle with the concept for a second. The ideas that you have of things. What if you're wrong? It can seem simple, easy to think about. Yeah, of course I'm wrong about some things. What if you're wrong about something you believe in very strongly? And what do you believe strongly in? And why is that? And what grounds do you have to believe strongly in that? Now, I'm not against believing strongly in something, but I am against not changing your opinion when new information comes in. I think that's the sign of an intellectual. I think an intellectual might frequently be labeled as a hypocrite by somebody who wishes to find small things to criticize them for. Now, I think this is unfounded, and it is just not a good term to use. A hypocrite. Because that means someone who says something and then does something differently, as far as I know. I think it's good to... Wow, that car is going backwards very fast. Interesting. Only in Amsterdam. Yes, but I do believe a change of priorities is in order when new information comes in and shatters your beliefs. Very interesting to have that shattered. Even my idea of family was false. I thought you had to hide things from family. I thought that this and that from just things that people in school would tell me and just the way that they would interact with their family. But with me, I found out I could just be truthful with my family. I can tell my mom that I'm on mushrooms. I can tell my brothers I love them. It's a wonderful thing. You get to choose how you interact with people, not other people. I think I'd been living as if somebody else was watching me for so long. I was telling my friend Jovy, I think I would have been afraid to walk about naked and poop with my own door open in my house. I was so worried somebody might see. Isn't that funny? So self-conscious. Pardon me while I check this map. Goodness gracious. And as far as I know, I'm getting closer. Very nice. Yeah, just bear straight. And settings will become familiar. Oh, travel does open you to new concepts. Isn't that cool? you get to go to a place like Amsterdam, where they listen to music that you might consider cringy from North America, but they listen to it unironically. Stuff like the Shrek theme, like All Star by Smash Mouth, and Bring Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake. Stuff that we would maybe make fun of if it went on in the club. Now, this is a hypothetical club. I don't spend much time in them, so I really don't know how that would go down. But in my concept, I probably would have gotten self-conscious and maybe sat down while the song is on. But here, people fucking jam out to that stuff. Isn't that funny? There's such a lack of judgment. I mean, and if there is judgment, they keep it to their goddamn selves. Isn't that funny? Yes. Everyone feels very accepting, very human here. And that may just be because of the way of life here. But everybody, down to the employees, they feel so human. Like, you just want to be a human with them. Like, I remember walking and getting breakfast with my friends, and we walked into the breakfast joint, and one of the waitresses said, "Could you maybe close the door?" And now in North America, I would have been like, wow, that was kind of passive aggressive. Yeah, I'll close the door, bitch. Like, not trying to demean her or anything, but like, wow, like that is like, okay, she's being very forward, kind of bitchy. Yeah, I would have said that in my head, by the way. I definitely would not say that out loud, so please don't isolate that and post it on the internet. Anyway, yeah, when she said it, and just because of the feeling and atmosphere of Amsterdam, I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't consider that. Let's close the door. Very nice. I don't know, it just wasn't something that I thought of. Yeah, of course I'll close the door. It seems, maybe this is just a perspective shift on my part, but here, because of the freedom that they have, they're people first. Like in the jobs, I think of them as people first and then their jobs. They are Caitlin, who is working as the waitress, not waitress, who is also named Caitlin. Now that may be something that I should feel in North America as well. And perhaps it's just something that I've been opened up to now. Life gives us interesting biases to work with sometimes. So that's very cool to figure out where our biases lie and how we can change how we perceive the world. And maybe we can become a little bit more human. Oh, that's funny. I was really excited to say that, so I stuttered it. I was really excited to say that last part. I was figuring that would be a wonderful way to end the podcast. Maybe we could all just get a little bit more human. Yeah. Oh, when I get excited, I love to stutter. I love a good stutter when I get excited, yes. Get ahead of myself, stutter out my words, mumble, gnash my teeth. Yes, I do love a good stutter here and there. Wonderful. I love to look upon things with a positive light. Even the negative things, they're all just kind of a part of life. And if you can look at things with the same openness that life does, then I think you'll be winning. Very good. I do think I'm in the right direction. Yes. Oh, well, because I brought it up, that would be nice to talk about the stuttering thing. Oh, yes. Stutter. I have a good story for that one. Little storytelling moment. Hopefully I can do this right. Even if I do it wrong, it's still a story, isn't it? Yes. Alrighty. So, stuttering. When I was in high school, there was a very pretty girl, Christina. And I thought she was gorgeous. Nice personality. Cool. Very knowledgeable, very open. But I was a little bit too self-conscious for her, I think. I think she was on a different level for me. She was Greek. I've been texting her for a long time. I had a weird workaround way of getting girls because I was too self-conscious to talk to them. But we'd become friends over the phone and stuff. And one day I figured, why don't I pull a trigger and ask her out? So after school, I caught up with her. And my plan was to say, Christina, would you like to go to a movie with me? But because I was excited and scared and everything else, instead, what came out was, Christina, do you want to go to a movie? Let me repeat that. Christina, would you like to go to a movie? It just didn't come out. And now, because I was so nervous, I believe I've blacked out the rest of it. I cannot recall. I do believe it was an awkward moment after that. And we did not end up going to a movie together. Nope. No, sir or madame. We did not. That was the talk of the school the next day. She said no to Josh. That made me feel nice. I was like, yeah, she did say no to me. I just felt nice to be the talk of the town for a little bit. I was kind of a insider in high school. This might be a good way to be my own psychologist, because I do love to pick apart my own ideas and just figure things out by talking about them. That's how I feel about life. Like about how I feel about who I am. I figure things out by talking. And maybe I'll be a little bit less intense for my friends if I can learn to talk to myself better over this podcast. And therefore I could be a better friend for them. That would be nice. I don't enjoy overwhelming people. I don't enjoy being exhausting to be around just because I have so many things that are on my mind, and that my way of speaking can overwhelm people, especially introverts. I do tend to overwhelm introverts because I just like to talk and talk and talk when I figure things out. Yes. Oh, almost dropped my phone there. I think this is a good time to cut the recording. So this is Josh signing off from Amsterdam. Thank you very much for listening if you did. Please subscribe, and hopefully I'll be doing more of these, because I do plan on doing a lot more walking, and by gosh, I do plan on doing a lot more talking. Holy moly, I never shut up. That's me being self-conscious, but that's my impression of how somebody who didn't like me might feel. Looking forward to laying down in my hotel, free of worry, with a full belly of hydration, and my eyes shut, and a worry-free sleep. Yes, looking forward to that. So pip pip, cheerio, and do not eat steak with mustard unless you want the acidity to rot your teeth. No, I'm just kidding. Eat steak with mustard if you want. It's actually pretty good. Okay, yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Love ya.
Get up.